2016, given the way in which you experienced it and the debate that has taken place since, would you feel safe walking the streets of central Dublin tonight?
Mark, I've been speaking to so many leaders since Friday. In fact, I haven't had a good sleep because we've just been discussing the same issues. People are very fearful. They're terrified of even thinking they will walk on the street, not just in Dublin, across Ireland right now. They know that there's a voice note circulating on social media calling for people to harm them, killing every immigrant in this country. It is very unsettling. Everyone is living on edge right now, and we need to do something about it. We cannot continue ignoring that this is a small minority of far-right movement. It is an organized terrorist group of people who want to harm immigrants in this country, and we have to take action now. We can't keep on calling them a small, dangerous group of people, because it is an organized group of people who are radicalizing young people and encouraging them to go and harm others who are just living peacefully, who wants to live a peaceful life in this country.
If you've been paying attention to what's been going on the world stage the past week or so, you might have seen some news coming out of the tiny island nation of Ireland about a stabbing that took place and the ensuing riots that followed. Now, you may be wondering, why would a stabbing attack that is pretty commonplace, especially here for us in the US, lead to unprecedented riots? Well, the Irish people for some time have been dealing with an immigration crisis, and just like here at our own southern border, the government doesn't seem to be too concerned in how this is affecting its constituents. Now, it just so happens the incident on Thursday was perpetrated by, take a guess, an illegal immigrant who had no business being in Ireland. Matter of fact, he was supposed to have already been deported for a weapons charge from earlier in the same year. And so the Irish people took to the streets to say enough is enough. And as is the case in 2023, if you show any signs of displeasure or disagreement with those in charge, especially in government, they will be looking for a way to silence you. When former MMA champion Conor McGregor, who is an Irish citizen, took to Twitter to say, quote, "Ireland, we are at war," which some would say is a valid argument considering the circumstances, the left came out in full force to expose the right-wingers and label McGregor's tweets as anti-immigrant and hate speech.
There has been engagement between Garda Síochána and the social media companies, not just on Thursday, but since then. But I would be seeking to meet with X myself because I think the company have a responsibility to be responsible, and where they did not take down content on Thursday is added to and I think fueled some of what happened. So I would like to engage with them on what they plan to do moving forward.
When you think about it, all law, all legislation is about the restriction of freedom. That's exactly what we're doing here, is we are restricting freedom, but we're doing it for the common good. You will see throughout our constitution, yes, you have rights, but they are restricted for the common good. Everything needs to be balanced. And if your views on other people's identities go to make their lives unsafe, insecure, and cause them such deep discomfort that they cannot live in peace, then I believe that it is our job as legislators to restrict those freedoms for the common good. When you think about it.
So a couple initiatives there that the Irish government is looking to get right on. First and foremost, they want to get over to Twitter, have a meeting with Elon to find out how he's going to curve this hate speech off of X in the future. Now, I would say after what we saw last week with his interview about Bob Iger and Disney pulling their ads, best of luck with that.
Go yourself.
But the legislation that they plan on passing in their own government is a totally different story. And when we're talking about that, I guess we need to define exactly what is hate speech, because according to the BBC, when someone spray painted Irish Lives Matter the other day in Northern Ireland, that is being investigated as a crime committed with hate speech. Now, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, hate speech is speech or expression that denigrates a person or persons on the basis of alleged membership in a social group identified by attributes such as race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, religion, age, physical or mental disability, and others. It is a very, very broad definition, and that is how they are writing the legislation. Now, where this story really takes an interesting turn is when you look at the reaction that the actual people in government had towards the rioters. And we see this with the city councillor in Limerick, as well as with the Minister of Defence, who was all up in arms about what happened on Twitter. Watch.
Look, I said what I said yesterday. It's perhaps not language that I would normally use, but I was reflecting, I think, the actions that we saw on Thursday night. I have strong feelings on what happened, and I think the people responsible for the violence and the absolute thuggery on Thursday night, they need to be brought to justice. And what I said, I think, was a reflection of the actions that we saw. But as I said, it's not normally language that I use, but I think what we saw on Thursday night was not something that we'd normally see either. And I think those responsible need to be held accountable, and I'm sure that they will be.
And feel that the only response that people involved in this sort of criminality and writing understand is a good, honest, decent beating. And I'll be blunt about it. You probably cannot say that, but I'll be blunt. That's what people want to see.
Ethnic minorities in areas of the public service. We have a health service that's very diverse, although less so as you go up towards the senior positions. Not so much in the Gardaí, not so much in the Defence Forces, not so much in the education sector, as the Deputy mentioned, not at all in the civil service, which is very white, including the Department of Equality, for example, and that actually needs to change. So we need to have...
To me, this is more of rules for me, but not for thee. The politicians can come out here, say whatever they like, along with the mainstream media, branding everyone as far right that has dissent with what's going on inside their government. And this can become a very slippery slope. If you take away a man's ability to speak, they will find other ways to voice their frustrations and let it be known that they're angry. And a lot of times that can lead to violence, as we saw last Thursday. Of course, I'm never going to advocate for any type of violence, people getting hurt, property destroyed, but your elected officials are not listening, and they are choosing for some odd reason to side with the minority over the majority. You know, there was a reason why here in the US our founding fathers started with the First Amendment as the most important of our God-given rights, and it is about to be taken away from the people of Ireland unless they stand up and vote out these globalist puppets. Don't blame the migrants who are being incentivized to come to Ireland for better opportunities. Blame the hubris of your government thinking that they know what's best for the people instead of the people themselves.
The government is addressing the extremist content online, like hate speech and incitement to violence, and Cumashuana Man is Ireland's new online safety and media regulator and will also be joint regulator along with the European Commission for the EU Digital Services Act. My department has ongoing engagement with An Cumashuana, and I, having met them 2 weeks ago, met with An Cumashuana again yesterday for an update on last week's events, and they informed me that they had engaged immediately with the large platforms and with the Gardaí and the European Commission, and that the platforms had activated their instant response plans and their engagement is continuing. An Cumashuana is calling for those who see hate speech or other illegal content online to report it to the platforms or to An Garda Síochána. This is important, but even more so important in next year. So, because once An Cumashuana is fully operational next year, people will be able to report to them directly if they think a platform has ignored or wrongly rejected their complaint.
And some of these people have gone completely insane and clearly have learned nothing from history. We are in for some very dark times if people are going to start snitching on their neighbors about what they're saying in their private lives. We have truly lost our way in the Western world as democracies. All right, this seems like a good place to leave it. We're going to be going live later on tonight. If YouTube allows them, let me know down. If YouTube allows them, let me know down in the comments, guys. What do you think about this situation? Do you think we are headed down the same path as Ireland? And if so, how do we put a stop to it? And as always, thank you for all the likes, the views, the comments, my new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We are here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.
coming down on his push bike just to get the story. Now, what are you going to say about the Irish people now? Are they far right? Are they racist? Are they racist? Are they? Yeah, you were laughing at them 8 months ago when you were telling you this is going to happen. All you fucking hacks. Yeah, go on, look at them. Good luck on your bike, on your fucking bike, go on.
Do you want to show me the video?
Yeah, on your bike, I don't even listen anymore, you're disgusting. You're on Twitter, you fucking know, yeah, he's on the scene, we all seen it. Go on your bike, on your fucking bike, you hack.